So as soon as you cross the bridge and come out of the tunnel, you immediately notice the difference between ascending Bright Angel versus ascending South Kaibab. Going up South Kaibab, you are immediately going straight up, and it doesn't relent for pretty much the entire way. It's a steeper climb, it's a shorter climb, but you gain 400 additional vertical feet, 4,800 vertical feet all the way to the top of South Kaibab versus 4,400 up Bright Angel. But on Bright Angel, you gain 400 less feet over 2.5 additional miles. So there's a lot more flat, meandering sections of Bright Angel. It's very steep at the end, the last 4.5 miles. But overall, South Kaibab does not let up pretty much for the entire way, with a few spots where it's less severe than others. Also, there is no water available anywhere on South Kaibab, whereas on Bright Angel, you will find water available seasonally. But you have to have all your water packed up from the bottom and have enough water to make it all the way to the top on a long and very difficult climb. All right, 2.1 miles from the bottom, you arrive at the tip-off. This is at the tip of the Tonto platform. We're still about 4.4 miles below the South Kaibab trailhead and 2.1 miles from the river and the bridge where we just came from. There are toilets here, and there's a shelter where you can rest in, but there is no water available, again, anywhere on South Kaibab. So now we break it into essentially 1.5 mile chunks from here to the top. 1.4 miles from here, you have Skeleton Point. 1.5 miles from there, you have Cedar Ridge. And 1.5 miles from there, you are at the South Kaibab trailhead. So it's easier when you can break it into these 1.5 mile chunks. This next one, from tip-off to Skeleton Point, starts off manageable enough for about the first mile. It's not that steep. But then you get to the infamous red and white switchbacks, which lead you for a 1/2 mile into Skeleton Point and are very steep. I would say they are the red and white switchbacks, the most difficult part of the South Kaibab trail. So, got to get ready for that as we head toward Skeleton Point. Skeleton Point, a great turnaround point if you're day hiking down South Kaibab. This is 3 miles from the top, so it's a 6-mile round trip. And this is the first place where you can see the Colorado River from South Kaibab. Now we've got 1.5 miles to Cedar Ridge and then 1.5 miles to the top. This next 1.5 miles to Cedar Ridge, it starts out deceivingly flat with a section called Mormon Flats. Then you get into what I call the staircase from hell. And South Kaibab is known for these steps that you see right there. And it is relentless, the back half of this jaunt from Skeleton Point to Cedar Ridge, where you just hit what seems like an endless staircase. And when you're at the end of a long hike, like say a rim to rim or a rim to rim to rim, that is not a welcome sight. All those steep steps that range in height from 6 inches up to over 2 feet. So they're awkwardly sized, they're awkwardly spaced because they're made for the gait of a mule, not for a human. So they're just awkward and they take a lot out of you. So that is the next 1.5 miles between Skeleton Point and Cedar Ridge. This is Cedar Ridge. We are 1.5 miles up from Skeleton Point, and now we are 1.5 miles from being done with this hike at the South Kaibab trailhead. Got about 900 vertical feet still to go over the 1.5 miles, and this part it's tough, but it makes up for it with what I think are the most iconic views on South Kaibab and maybe even in the Grand Canyon. Absolutely stunning what you're going to see for the next half mile as we go across Windy Ridge and make our way to Uwah Point, and then we're inside a mile from the top. Start seeing a lot more day hikers now who come down to Cedar Ridge. This is a great day hike, just 1.5 miles down, 1.5 miles back up. You don't get yourself in too deep, though in the summertime it can be dangerous because it's so hot and exposed and there's no water available. But South Kaibab is just simply incredible, and from here to the top you're going to see some really incredible views. As tired as you might be coming from the river or wherever you're coming from, it makes up for it by being distracted with the incredible views. That is the hike up South Kaibab. 6.5 miles from the bridge, 4,800 vertical feet that we gained on the way up. South Kaibab is tough, but given the choice, I would never do this in the summertime. Obviously, it's too hot, too exposed, too dangerous, no water available. But given the choice in the nicer times of the year, I would ascend South Kaibab over Bright Angel every single time, because I'll always take those less 2.5 miles in exchange for the 400 extra vertical feet. And in my opinion, it is a much more beautiful hike going down and up South Kaibab than it is on Bright Angel. Bright Angel is great, South Kaibab is more scenic. So get to the canyon. There's nothing better than being here. Come see it for yourself.